Everyone, I'm Sarah Swinton, and today in this video we're going over the classification system. Basically, we're looking at taxonomy all the way up to our dichotomous keys. So, taxonomy, this is a branch in science that is devoted to the classification of organisms. Now, the first person to actually classify organisms was Aristotle, going all the way back to Aristotle. His classification system, however, was very flawed. He classified all organisms as either a plant or an animal. So, with his classification system, if it was considered to be a plant, it was either a small plant, medium plant, or a large plant. If it was considered to be an animal, it was either a land plant or a land animal, water animal, or an air animal. That was his classification system. And it stayed like that for a very long time until we got to Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus, he actually came up with a good classification system where we can constantly change it anytime we find new species or anytime there's a change to our system. He made sure it was one we could modify. So he came up with a system that was hierarchical. So basically went from very broad to very specific. So his classification system was starting off with domain. Domain was the broadest classification system. This is where all organisms are separated into three groups in the domain. So you have your normal prokaryotes, your archaic prokaryotes, and then you have eukaryotes. So your three main things, you got your two types of prokaryotes and your eukaryote. So domain, very broad. It encompasses everything. And then it continues to get more specific as you go down. So then you have kingdoms, which is the next broad category, and we have 6 kingdoms in total. We have eubacteria, which are your good bacteria. We have archaebacteria, animalia, protista, plantae, and fungi. So as you go down the classification system, the organisms get placed into more specific categories like is it a mammal, is it a bird, is it a reptile, and so on and so forth. And then species is going to be the most specific classification. So there's only going to be one organism that will fit the species category. So you will need to know this classification system. So you have domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So usually your domain are made up of kingdoms. Your kingdom is made up of phylum. Your phylum is made up of classes. Your classes are made up of the orders. The order is made up of families. The family is made up of genera, and then your genus is made up of species. So he also did come up with a system to name each organism that we discovered according to this classification system. So every organism has a name, and that name is based off of the genus name and the species name together. So we all have a two-name scientific name based off of the genus and the species. So this has given us the binomial nomenclature. So bi means two, nom means name, and clature means system. So it actually means the two-name naming system, binomial nomenclature. So again, the scientific name is going to come from the genus and species name. So for example, we are Homo sapiens. So Homo is the genus, sapiens is the species. All right, so you do need to know the order of the classification system, so you can use some sort of mnemonic to help you remember it. So you can come up with your own, or you can use the one I have. So the way I remember the classification system is the domain would be dumb, king, phylum, cried out for goodness sakes. That is my mnemonic. So dumb for domain, king for kingdom, Philip for phylum, cried for class, out for order, for family, goodness for genus, and then sakes for species. So dumb King Philip cried out for goodness sakes. So all I have to remember is this mnemonic, and I do the first letter of each one. So dumb King Philip cried out for goodness sakes. So I just write down the letter for each one, and then from there I remember the D is for domain, K for kingdom, P for phylum, C for class, O for order, F for family, G for genus, and S for species. So we have 3 domains. There's bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. And then we have 6 kingdoms. So domain bacteria has one kingdom called eubacteria. Eubacteria are unicellular prokaryotes that live in regular conditions, and these are your normal bacteria or good bacteria. In domain Archaea, they have kingdom Archaebacteria, and these are unicellular prokaryotes that live in extreme conditions. So they are found in very hot or cold environments. So these are the type of bacteria that could live near volcanic activity, that type of thing. And then we have domain Eukarya, which are your eukaryotes, and they have four kingdoms of euprotists, fungus, plants, and animals. So euprotists are unicellular eukaryotes that do not fit in any other group. Fungus are multicellular eukaryotes that are characterized with a cell wall made up of chitin. Some examples of your fungus are yeast and mushrooms. Plants are multicellular eukaryotes characterized with a cell wall made up of cellulose. And Animalia is a multicellular eukaryote without a cell wall at all. So there are 3 domains in total and 6 kingdoms in total. So when we are looking at our taxonomy or classification system, we can actually look at it based off of this chart here. So from here, we're trying to figure out which phylum, class Mammalia, Aves, Reptilia, and Amphibia come from. So we have amphibia, reptiles, we've got birds, and we have mammals. They all come from phylum Chordata. So phylum Chordata, that's the phylum they come from. So the next one, what family contains the foxes, dogs, and wolves? So we find your foxes, you find your dogs, and you find your wolves, and we want family, so it's family Canidae. So then it's asking us what 2 classes can be found in phylum Arthropoda. So phylum Arthropoda, the 2 classes are Insecta and Crustacea. And then it's asking us for the scientific name for a lion. So we find the lion. Oh, there it is. And the scientific name is Pantherolea. So you got the genus name and the species name. Okay, so now true or false, we're going to figure out whether or not these things actually belong to the correct order, phylum, class, and so on. Okay, so dogs, do they belong to order Felidae? All right, here we've got our dogs, and we want to see which order they belong in. So order, we go back, here it is. So they are in order Carnivora, and that is not it. So that is going to be false. Okay, so then we've got snakes belong to phylum Reptilia. So we're going to see if that's correct. So snakes, let's see, where's our reptiles? Here's our reptile snakes. Do they belong to phylum? Phylum is right here, phylum Chordata. Is it phylum Reptilia? Nope, it is Chordata, not Reptilia. Okay, so then here we have lions belonging to the class Mammalia. Is this true? So lions, we want the class. Ah, there's the class Mammalia. Class Mammalia, yes, that is correct. All right, so then this one says all arthropods belong to the class Insecta. Okay, let's see. Arthropods are here, class Insecta, and some belong to class Insecta, some belong to Crustae. For this one, I'm going to say false. Okay, and then it says all rodents belong to phylum Chordata. All right, let's find our rodents. Here's our rodents, and we want phylum. So we go back, phylum Chordata. Yes, that is correct. So that is true. Just like that. Okay, so then we have our phylogenetic tree or cladogram. We're going to see what traits are going to separate our amphibians from primates. So we have amphibians, we have primates. The traits that separate them are hair and the amniotic egg. That is what separates between our primates and amphibians. Okay, so then what separates our rabbits and primates from crocodiles? See, rabbits, primates, and crocodiles. So that would be hair and eggs with shells. All right, so which organism is most closely related to the bird? Well, we have our bird. Well, it's on the same branch, so it's going to be the crocodiles. Okay, so then this one says which organism will have the DNA most similar to the bird? Well, again, same branch, it will have to be the crocodile. And then it's asking us which organism is the least related to the bird. So you go all the way over to the end, and sharks are the ones that are the least similar to the bird. And then the last thing it says is we want to draw a heart where the common ancestor should be on the phylogenetic tree. Now remember, your common ancestor is always going to be found at the bottom because that is your common trait. All right, so this is going to bring us to a dichotomous key. So dichotomous keys, these are basically two contrasting traits to help us actually figure out the name of an individual or of a species. So we can actually figure out what a species is based off of a dichotomous key. Well, in this case, we're going to be looking at aliens. The first one I'm going to look at is actually this one right here. So for this lovely little alien, we're going to start our phylogenetic tree. We're going to start our dichotomous key with number 1 with the two contrasting traits, and we're going to work our way down. So for number 1, does this creature have a large wide head? Yes, it does. So we go to number 2. Does it have 3 eyes or 2 eyes? It has 3 eyes, so then it says to go to number 3. So number 3 says, is there a star in the middle of the chest? It does have a star in the middle of its chest, so then it says to go to number 4. So number 4 says, does the creature have hair spikes? Yes, he does. So he is Broadus harris. Okay, so then the next one I'm going to look at is this lovely alien. Again, we're going to start all the way at the beginning. So we always start with number 1, no matter which one we're at. And we go through until we find basically the name of the organism. So for number 1, does the creature have a large wide head? Yes. So we go to number 2. Does it have 3 eyes? Yes. So we go to number 3. Is there a star in the middle of his chest? No. So there is no star in the middle of his chest, so it says to go to number 6. Number 6 says, does the creature have an arch-shaped bottom or an M-shaped bottom? He has an M-shaped bottom. So that means his name is Broadus tritopus. Just like that, or tritops. There we go, tritops. So that is his name. Okay, so then we're going to do our last one together. Here we go. So for this alien, again, we start all the way at the beginning for every new organism. All right, does the creature have a large wide head? No. So it has a small and narrow head, so it says to go to number 11. So we skip all those, go to number 11. Does the creature have an antenna? He does have an antenna, so we go to number 14. Number 14, does the creature have 2 eyes or 1 eye? He has 2 eyes, so we go to number 15. Number 15, does the creature have a mouth? No. There is no mouth, so we go to number 17. Number 17 says, does the creature have spikes? He does have spikes, so we go to number 18. Are there spikes on his head or on his bottom right leg? It's on his head, so it says to go to number 19. Number 19 asks us if there are spikes covering his face or if it's only found on the outside edge of the face. Well, it's the outside edge of the face, which means this name is Narrowus fuzzes, and that is the name of that organism. So that is how you read a dichotomous key.